and happy Monday! Happy Monday! Ang bukmate me dan me kaptera familiar. Malt me anu kale ani atubet sa lokya kargi der al tutao. Di wera po dongo do ringi ang waigel pe krokul familiar. Ada malting watalgi bel time. Mo lelak la. Yo odar sarong do mal do suedan moraro bakal Dios. Malorang asulel. Tiaklabo kalbalwadra balur belal ngilul meskit. Masel mokte kaningiri reli del mo adar belaw. Ada mal makasal mal bloel gire del kakatkak li kasabaak li ikaw baltigering. Malaway se malt meron kal okya karigidam lo sobe elme o bengkete el altutaw. Kangal karbelaw, yak mom sa te alam wals tingil karingi yak bolu dat kingel ang kamil elem lugrora ay kakidali palura Hawaii. Maungil tuta Malia.
Ungil tuta.
So malian sa mo ay sito sa tarwat ang your parents among mo sa kam dilo sa kangal karigel balu.
So my name is Lomalai Beches. My mother is Iwong Beches and my father is Tadil Beches.
Makangal karayray mang ayangal.
Correct.
Okay.
Mangarard.
Mangarard, okay. Kamo ay say, where did you grow up?
So born and raised in Honolulu, Hawaii. I grew up there going to elementary school, Ka'iolani. Then went to intermediate school of Central Intermediate in the heart of downtown Honolulu. And I graduated from McKinley High School.
Yay, okay. Mangkang mileel emlogrora blura Hawaii, mamlara elementary say, dire kal blura high school, el McKinley High School sila tilo badaringi. So after you finished high school, what did you do after that?
Well, I got a plane ticket to go to California and continued my education, going to a little college in Salinas, California called Hartnell.
Among kamlora skura California, lora balura Salinas, California, lora college say. What degree did you get from?
I went into computers because in the 90s, that's when it was, something new, something interesting I wanted to get into. So I went to school for computers.
Kaya dalo ay sulwa sa sige del time ra 1990s computer ako ra malmle brand new ato kamal sa Maria rangi mang suba computer sa sige del time. And then tell us a little bit about what your life in California.
So while I was going to school getting my IT degree, I did not want to work at a fast food restaurant. So I was determined to find an office job or something that I didn't smell like food. While I study, I think about cheeseburgers.
Kaya dalawa siya mga school, hindi swalo siya rural dire. Lolo nga siya niya man letir mo regal blila blongur dim la kalsual seldo doble blongurang warwa McDonald. Dim la kalsual mo riro iya del fast food ang de kalsual el gora musube dil bobula bulakal.
So I was lucky enough to get into what we call JCPenney Optical at that time. The company was US Vision. So I walked into the mall searching for a job and I seen an opening and I thought, well, why not? So I went in, interviewed that same day and actually got the job.
Mamlora mole o mesil wasangari gal mole gal maklol stoang yo koro o mesil wasangara sa elmoni alo mesangari opening at tegi del JCPenney Opticals mo kore maral mo mandang okle fill out application mangal tangatel ang mangiluti alorior. So what position were you given at Tegi del Pasio?
So I was given the positions of sales and learning the business of optical, the basics of how a prescription is given by the doctor, how we write the prescription, and how to choose glasses that's going to be a right fit for that person that's coming in to look for glasses.
material bolo dio de tiang etama ngome saigel lolo sa toktang alwa se wait tiagi del al teletaira mada ungil el mora ra adlo spe ai kai kitele mengane mang lo sabe lo dio de seigi del ora otro lela ma omsube lai kai kitil el mengane. And so tell us more about that. How many
So
did you enjoy it?
I actually did. It was a great learning experience. And one thing great about that company, if you wanted to advance, they were willing to pay for what we call certifications to become an optician. And with that, you can go to school for becoming an optician, but I was lucky enough to learn on the job.
Mga gidro ay suseng malangal tanga telong bali leng mo sabe el wayal hara ora ngi mang malaya gel tol gel mong kora certification mong ka license sabe emal mo o optician mandim engi gira del se del school ndin ka wal logi tegi dulu rere mo sabe el si el musube ngwa license certification. Okay. So you got your certification while you were there at that job, eh?
So yes, I got my certification there and got to continue to work for the eye doctor in that company. And then when it was time to leave, I went back home to Hawaii just for vacation and picked up and left and worked for the same company in Kansas City, Missouri.
Okay. Among kamlo mrege mlera Hawaii le mal madra lam lekera Hawaii.
Yes, my parents lived
Mang
there.
mlol mora Hawaii me visite me ore kukmo bra California el kukmo kera Kansas City. Or your official company
yeah.
at Kansas City. Okay. So you're in Kansas City, you're doing the same job. Yeah, optician may gilbal tong aurere la ultra way gagi del mengane ma contact lens engar alen make sure lo asengungi la fit ringi ngungi ramadam sel mo mesengungil tira kal el marula eye class.
Yes, I can make glasses.
Oh, halik talgib el stobe ko sa other segi dal to mal dirula sen kagirel may mangkasi el marula eye class. You know, sabi mo like a lens rigid. Madu al katerulil mo shape per se gid el frame el so ame correcta visioner ka. Okay, yeah. Wow. Okay. So let's continue. Makangara Kansas City and kamla mobile sel.
Yes, I was already married, and then a couple years later, I had my son, Ngiraitib.
Ngiraitib Uncle.
Yes.
Melang, how old is your son now?
My son will be 21 in the beginning of the year.
Oh, okay. Kaya ay single ko tuklong ngalgela mo lui matargire el almel ko talbuil.
Yes.
Oh, ang aniyam kaya karir ngay?
Yes, I have two other children. I have my 13-year-old. Her name is Orwe.
Orwe.
And my youngest, who's just turned 2 weeks ago.
Oh, okay.
And her name is Yolsao.
Okay. Matiratatero radil?
Yes, 2 girls and 1 boy.
Oh, you're blessed. Oh, mga gido ay sulusang tirigidya arang alagil tetatero radil ma imol saan. So let's go back. Makangarakan sa City o kore emla mobile o ngalge de maka orior osisyol kumbali.
Yes.
Makarang.
So I ended up working for that company for a good 10 years, and I had the opportunity to work for another lab that manufactured. So this is where I got to get into from sales and learning how glasses fit, how to train to have people put contact lenses in, to actually learning the back side of making glasses, and that's manufacturing lenses and how light perception causes different changes in your prescription. So I got to learn the ins and outs of glasses.
O makagidro ay susim tial trui era kalorior tial gombali en dire kalmlo madu el mayigidro lo gol wasil mru la class e dire kalmlo musu bamlo tingelo sia light ang makarang al affect ray kagidial lens ray kagidial mengane wal sal malmlo otmol a umsubel maklaw ngeringi arti kagidial lo maralela ay kagidial eyeglasses ma e makarang.
So I got to learn that. Even though I have my degree in IT, I was really just interested in learning more about, how our eyes affect us. Of course, we only have one pair, and we cannot just go to the store and buy a new pair if something happens, unless you're looking for reading glasses.
Okay. Makagidol wasin di sa gidal time lang wa digiringira IT lang kang kuramin nga todo ulwasay sa gidal bluraskuringi bluraskuray gal tora computer mampay ko ba digiringira IT. So IT stands for
Internet technology.
Okay, internet technology mang kaya waya kora obas kuler sa gidin detail mleurel trui ma arra karuli mang paik man la mo matu ortial to kore ka gidle omrul al class. And so then what happened did you move away from Kansas City?
I sure did, because I missed my parents, my siblings. We all lived in Hawaii, so I missed home. I missed the connection of family.
Oh.
So even though I made my family, I missed my family, and I missed my child getting to know, his grandparents. So we decided to make that move to go back to Hawaii.
Makagidro ay sulwase mga niya bii leungal kanting kuramal malat kratamal matalal marpepiringi al ngara Hawaii ya mal neswal ang kalang aligela polo tan tri ratamal matalal al ngara Hawaii to kuremle decide al move family ringil mura a Hawaii. So when was that when you blora kera Hawaii?
So I finally settled in 2005.
2005 ang nilutan mo Hawaii mo pagkilatamal matalal.
Yeah.
And what was mlewa ngara obra Hawaii?
I was thinking that, we can make it in Hawaii. I think if I made it in the States, had a home, had a life there, it wasn't going to be hard to just start all over again.
Ikaw, milararabli mra
Kansas City, Missouri.
Oh, and you were in your 30s at that time?
No, it was in my early 20s we got to get a home.
Okay.
We were the concept of paying rent and the time of purchasing was a house was like only $100 difference. So we said, why not buy?
Okay. And so mandi alda alam mong ka adra mathematician. So ang kagidlo ay silwas hindi lengara lui madringe largi le moblay leong wase mlo omesa o ure wase la adi imokluka klarosra ado tole ngablay mado klalo ablay lo maar mang milara dalang aklel mang ngaramrige le malungi la klangaratir ngi marangalige lemla o blay mangwasak perhawa ang lari kalsal maringal akpong yang diri kalsabi kalmo o ngila dalang akle karahawa lang katel ngaramrige ngariabli ke ngilaw reri maila da mormeng selwasi sira ku klaborahawa yang lewang dalang akle borahawa sidra bla mo ngara 2005.
Yeah. So as they see, the struggle is real. Thinking that I can actually, make it in Hawaii because, started life, made a life in the mainland and decided to come back home. I actually really had a hard time finding a job in the field that I wanted to be in. It took me a couple years for me to get back into working for an eye doctor or an optical shop, just because it's who you know.
Okay. So kagi dalawa ay sulwasin malbura Hawaii ang maral mle maringal ringi tigaw rio ray kay kitil tegi del field ringi la optometry kay kitil lo maral marula class maral amlo ngara erura kalo sigaw rio le sel ngara Hawaii ing ki direk kalwasin tanga omodang liya kamo sa pem tigaw rio say kitil el field la tegi del ko marula al mengani mang malmemring ang tigaw rio.
So I actually ended up working for, there's actually two jobs. I kind of always had two jobs to work. So the first job that I actually got my foot into the door was working for a title and real estate company. And in the midst of that, I was looking to get into my degree. So I was lucky enough to get into an IT company, which dealt with banks and programming.
Aldo man dire kan man neso kal invite tra malial me. Angka misal adra urior. Mang ere sel ko podo sa da ere lalsil sing mo sa da scheduling din kagi del di el doring singiro se al sel aklang ari blo ol korang ari tablo lurio lorura be kal time. Masira al lutel mora Hawaii ngara real estate e dire ko kora oriol girela tegi del degree real IT lol nga sewa banking companies mga segi dia mlo dia kal sebe el morsel kotel soal lorior el nia omrul el I class mang mlo ay gi del kuktablo lorior lalo sa del wasem la real estate ma gi del IT company ang wangara akla mga tela tamel bla gi del.
So working with the title and real estate, I got lucky enough to work almost 3 years with them. I was actually let go because of the financial crash in 2008. So I was actually lucky enough that I still had my main job, my IT company. Yeah, so I actually stuck with it while I looked for another job. I learned that working in that IT company, I was actually not happy with it because I really didn't get to communicate with people. Ask them, how can I help you? And actually, really, how can I help you?
Mga ito ay siya mamlo sa elorio le dera kal ngar sa el real estate di sa 2008 ang mlo niya crash ra kay kita le stock market ra beluram rigel mang mlo dia kal ngar sa dia ending mil mol mal ngar IT company di mlo mal asol was hindi kalungi larong ngar sa landim lakate el mga ado raraf di kalestriar af nga mal swal sel connection and sel sabi el mga tatura ade ol nga sir adok mga sa karulil mo sukaw. And so then
so from there I actually stuck with that company until one day of course I wear glasses, but I also wore contacts at the time, and so I ran out of contacts, so I went to go look for an eye doctor. And when I found the eye doctor near where I lived, I actually went to go ahead and go to my appointment, and I actually ended up interviewing my eye doctor.
Kami sa igalura la rumakal Dios. It's just so amazing. Mangka nga wasin ka dire kal low classes mamlo omistra toktang al kukirela ay gagi dali kal osingel mamlo visitra toktang alam mo ngi etakaw story al molmo ngi ang kal toktang ako ramate mal solo sing kak malbato kalo ngi mahal beto kalau ngel to kura adu mandim le waisel mga adu ngel wase ba mga application resen madalat tuang le fill out teringi o koreng le hired sige nga mo. What year was that?
So that was actually 2009 that I was able to get that job. But I actually stuck with the IT company just to kind of make sure I leveled everything out, and if I was sure about this going into it until I was ready to just 100% be with the IT, with the optical.
Okay, makagi dalawa isu kasi taharingi ding dimil lamol malartiagi dal kong balira IT le ngoram le swal momdengel wasit tiagi diel blal polorio ringil selk mal swal lorio lo bengela toktang ala math akora wabla bolungi la bol sob el kul ko itisel el IT company blaringi mang mil mo mal tablong aurere mang mo si el mom dingelo si teki diong agira kal ngaringi ngartial lo bangil kal toktara ma. So when did you worked with the eye doctor and
I worked with the eye doctor until about the beginning of 2017. I actually was, once I left the IT company, I got to work full time with this eye doctor. But one thing great about this company that I worked with, it was a mom and pop company, but they also had their in-shop, it's called a finishing lab. So basically what they would do is order lenses and they would cut the lenses. Mm-hmm. So kind of something of like the all-in-one one-stop shop. And, it kind of came to full circle of like first starting with just in sales, and then next thing just kind of learn on the outside of how prescriptions are made, how to grind them. Now I work for a company that does everything. Mm-hmm.
Okay, mangka gidro ay sosema seguidal kombali el florio ringia awayal seldo mame pap pengerel kombali el family owned business.
Yes.
Mangmlar segi di okoretia malungi lang wayal al lotrule la class el molmor omru el class el mo mangwayal complete el sel de boringi en se emal moringi o mesa toktang et rolia prescription arkaw e okoret katar ti rulia klasar kau ulmas kau. So makamlar mo you said until
2017. I actually left the company because I wanted to I actually started from working as a doctor's assistant, and of course still working in the front, then going into cutting lenses, going back to the same thing that I did with the lab. Mm-hmm. And I actually felt like there's more I could do. Mm-hmm. I want to work for an ophthalmologist.
Oh,
so I wanted to see what's the other side of that. I want to go into, surgeries and all this kind of stuff, because of course I was a doctor's assistant. And so I decided to continue my education, going into my second career, and that was to become a nurse so I could go into the other side of optics and go into ophthalmology.
So ang kaya daw all makmal na invite rin meka mo mi say ka loro la mangula mo chloradi lebi le ongal e ko konda swam la mo mrura ongerungal el nursing el mal ligarama le mo da slo sensual mlaurio lo bengela toktang e swal el mutel wayabol mola subel maklading ngin kirel tel to e swal lo ngasora adra e ko into ga gidele bot kramata ngarang. Okay, so kamla oititial kombali le kaswamal mora school, and then what happened?
So of course I took too long to go back to school, so whatever credits you use or you don't use, you lose it. So I had to start all over again. I'm in my 30s now, trying to compete with 18-year-olds to get A++.
Mga ito ay social alubong ay gelm credit rin ang ngara school am la modi kalorio lang mal makatangara lakal ngara school mangirel ko klamutan mo start
fresh.
Oh ay tell us so what happened then.
So I was able to finish school, but I wanted to go ahead and advance my degree. So we moved to the States. Me and my husband, we all moved to the States to go ahead and continue both of our education. So my husband was actually in IT cybersecurity.
Okay.
And he had his bachelor's. Now he was going to go into his master's degree. And so we decided to go move to the States. Actually, we ended up in Washington, Vancouver, Washington now. And in the midst of the move, my dad called, come take care of me. And I said, well, let me think about it. I have school. I just enrolled in going into this nursing program. Let me get myself situated. And then the constant call of come take care of me, I finally said, okay. Now that we're moving, we live in the States. I told my husband, well, I gotta go take care of my dad, so I'll have to disenroll in school.
Mga gidro ay sulwase mang Tegidal wase polchabel el mutal mora a school eta mang milat kal wase mora marigele mangi mabila ameluk kol mutal mora marigele abil mendire kal mula school mo malaya IT advance tigirinira IT ma internet cyber security ay hidi el gora atogera computers ngi adire kal kokmla sois bang amla mo sabel el mortegidal nursing program adama om kadong. Seguida adama mamla merbelao.
Yes, so my parents moved back to Palau to, I like to say, retire. Here in 2013, they finally came back to Palau to live here.
Mang seguida adama la aloko la ringi seguida 2017 adama lam mo e warra kal kirbelao le tamle mobile me retire mobile mera valor belao. Ma adama la diom kadong ni lo se moral me mo bakak me mesakak kat maklak. So it must have been a hard decision. May marang aligay mel ngarse ma talang akpe maramrigel hindi ko na decide to asak merame.
You know, it wasn't, for me it was the decisions like, man, this is my goal. Okay, if it's meant to be, it's meant to be. If my dad's calling, I have to go because I only have one dad.
Oh,
And so that's why I picked up and left. We came to Palau.
Kau marang aligay mabiyem.
Just me. My daughter came here. I wanted my daughter to have the opportunity to learn how to speak, learn the culture, because we really didn't get a chance to really visit Palau. We once in a great while we came, but you know, flights and costs got too expensive where we couldn't really visit as much as we wanted to.
Ma already ulpengela mama
Yes.
dalam mersil time. Okay.
Yeah, that time.
Mangkagida ay susi mangkagida tamalara lom kadongan ngi ang okore e merbela long asen ka maldi imol da makama girakal mo obang. So you came back in 2017?
Oh, I came back in the beginning of 2018.
Okay, 2018.
And then I got to spend a great, wonderful couple months with my dad before he passed away.
Okay, mga kito ay susi mang mlem lo subel lo bengela damal mga tatura damal mga tmokra damal mo maasme ra damal sira 2018.
Yeah.
And then nakautero ang martiang
And now I'm here.
since Tegid,
Since, yeah, so now that my dad has passed, I know one thing my dad's wish was from the time that he came from Palau that he wanted me to come to Palau because of what I did and how much of my expertise was needed here in Palau. And I always had my foot on the ground. I was like, I'm not ready yet. This is not, I remember having the conversation of like, this is not the field that I want to go into. I'm just not ready. He says, no, we need you here. It's best that you come and help the people of Palau. I said, well, let me think about it. And I think it took my dad to say, come to Palau.
Bangkay gitu loh siya malablo malkon yun masih berbela ada bela usper kau tegi dia el dor kara umru lel mengani ada bela mal usper kau ini ablo la sehal entri kabol time di tegi drati lo li triad mal wase bemre be meska be mongot mokaranga seguida ulum lo super el men kay gidra al ngartiang mandokliad mal buried your dad
Yes.
and el ako ko bangela mam.
I'm with mom now, so I take care of mom. Getting to spend as much time as I can with her. You know, I didn't expect, when you see your parents, you think your parents are going to live with you until you pass away.
Same.
We have that mentality of like, my parents are going to live forever. Yeah.
Ay se makakita lo siya sel domda solo se tirgal tamata radike tiya ka lamaf tiya ka bol mi ituut hindi kakita mlame mal solva siya adalala usperi ay la bol blal matatamal mal do makangarbela ang artel mal mol mal lobengela adala mal Because you're, hindi kadi mo ngal gala mamrakal ngal belar at
Yes,
time.
only me.
O komtelan ngal ka.
So there, including me, is the four of us.
Oh.
I have one sister in California, and then two of my sisters live in Hawaii.
Okay.
One on the Big Island and on the island of Oahu.
Okay. Mangkagito sa tatewa ngi radile hindi nga tingil tal ngal bela loban gala mamirti. Kamo ay mang where do you siro merbela kamil gara mortelurere bela kobrio regere el altam omar bela.
So right now, I work for Palau Adventist Wellness Center. We do have an optical. We do have an optometrist there. His name is Dr. Raymond Reyes.
Kaya mangkagito ay suseng karel altam orior segi del Palau Seventh-day Adventist.
Yes. So short for the SDA clinic.
SDA clinic.
Everybody likes to call it the SDA clinic.
Al nga na tapsay nga na tapsay de nga niya optometrist toktang nga sila toktang ramadal Dr. Reyes ang orior lo bengeling gidal toktang Dr. Reyes.
Yes.
Okay. So mang ra rere. So what do you do?
So I actually do the same thing. I help the people that come in, get them ready with our doctor to be seen, and then when they come out, I help them with their glasses, explain to them, what their needs and what their wants are. And we actually are able to make glasses still yet, because I do have a lab in Hawaii that I worked with while I was in Hawaii. Was lucky enough to was able to have them be part of the clinic to order lenses through.
Okay. Mangkagi dalo ay selwa se mangurio rese lo bangela toktang selwa mereka okyakan mesa toktang eta meringi nga mga ortirire legal polos pe al mengane eta dire kal sabi il marula class tamrulay kal mengane e okoreng yal do mang sabiil ding arte nga order labal nga rahaway ngil madan trir gidel adal mlarahaway lo bantrir mangungil adal long lir man sabiil order lo yaksay mang ngani akora aldo dulce kam lawase maldigay ay gal madada de aka che del morastonya se mekpara tablol like ay gidal eyeball sa nga gyang lam tamalaman so kalom ara ay gal al sula matatanti akal sabiil manggira dal mga muklay gal matadam kamu story ay gal things that inspire you lamang maswamalo lorior at tegi del tletara lorior ko maralo sa kol nga sirara.
So while working in Kansas City, I got to meet this young kid who got into a car accident when he was really young, and he was a senior that year, and he was explaining, I'm in a wheelchair. I'm going to college after. I want to get my degree, but I don't want to. I feel like me being in a chair and wearing glasses also is a disability for me. So I want to change something different, and I want to wear contacts.
Mangkagito ay siya nga Kansas City niya okya karingil ngal kara school lo otro mo ngirul school lara accident mangkangara wheelchair ti akal sabel paralyzed and dal move kating ara wheelchair wise ra maliel wasi akara wheelchair mal tigal already kora waisel so all mal tigalo ay class ang mal rulang al mga kamal mo obul makara mga suka kaleng tikal suka ay class makamil ka ringi.
So we decided to have him to go into contact lenses, and this young man was limited in mobility with his arms, but it took a week or two to train, to teach him and how to clean his contacts, how to put them on. But finally he was able to go ahead and start wearing contact lenses. And he told me that, thank you so much for believing in me. This is something that I will never forget. And I'll always remember you for, helping me. And it actually made me feel good that I actually made a difference for somebody.
Mga malulurang asulel ang ulcis aklilo contact lenses mamoti kalumi ngane mo sabiil mga moklay kay kidal contact lenses ringi ka nga mal paralyzed naman ti si elmo ba.
Just the thumbs and the fingers, like the.
Di kal tablo limal at tial boos masele na next ra boos. Mang rest at tial si elmo itantik mangulsis akli mang mamuduol mga moklay kay kidial contact lens ringil ti uspe ay kay kidial limal.
Yeah.
Engkay kita man blora nga sulil wasi amal mesalan lang usuha kam no sabi kal lungi lo mesre el amal ti ako peser kaw. May kita ulen sual malmol mal nga kay kiti luriol nga ringilang mal o marangal wasong ol nga siora ata sil lo cute alurere.
Just to have that feeling of somebody's like, I made a difference is actually one reason why I'm in the field.
Mga idro ay siya sige di luwasay sabi nga rin alkat maklil luwayal ra aklang ara lungoswir sige daw unong malmalmal mga artegi di luriol nga rin. Okay. And so, tell us kautian lang arbelaw kong since 2018.
Yes, since 2018 I've been here.
Kamlaki ra balur belaw. And then because of COVID-19 abiim ngalagay mal sa alang aramrigel.
Yes. So, my son is in the military. He's in the Marines. He's a soldier in the Marine Corps. And so he's living his life as an adult now. Really don't have to worry about him. And then, of course, my husband is still in Vancouver, Washington.
Okay. So, touch a little bit about your life here. Like, ang kakulgarir malial wasi, makarasemel kirbela, kaklangaradim laray, krelabela, kamil el rahawam, lukro rahawa, yangara, elakam la mekirbela, kamkarange, sabi emal kirbela. Matamorong sisay gidal di kal ko amo sisil karong ti kabol lendi ka maklol stoa le voice klang arakal omo tang lir om lamrigel mang kamo ay so gidal sa how are you able to do that kamal mring lodior.
I'm actually able to do that. I'm a homebody, so I the tendency of me wanting to go out and doing stuff, it was never my thing. So that's one thing about being at home, getting to just listen to people talk and have stories, have visitors come to the house is actually what's I'm comfortable with. Kind of being around big family. And it's never bothered me to stay here. I think the issue that I had here was like, oh, it's so hot.
I say what I say. Oh, hawa malda there always have the breeze.
Where's the wind?
I say, mga gidro ay susing malungilak ng aring irtiang kadim laway sel kadisual nga rablay. Tekal sa kabayis. Baysual nga rablay. Spend that time alone with la family. So, what's your schedule like at work? Kailang malso ko mo ay simula sa ka-oriol 6 days a week. I mean, kita adabela ko at umusindan 5 days and ka mal-oriol 6 days a week.
So, I do have a second job. In that second job, I do work for a store that brings in, sunglasses that I can go ahead and upkeep. That's like a part-time job. And then usually the wellness center keeps me pretty busy, especially when I have orders. So I do have a machine that I can grind the lenses to fit glasses. I have to actually really just time it with our doctors because if my patients are with the doctor, I'm mindful about when I run my machines, it does get loud. So I kind of work around the doctor's schedule. So when I do have orders to cut, that's when I come in on the weekend, Sundays to work. So I can get all of my jobs out and take care of the rest of the week, just to make sure my week is, running smoothly.
So nga taal si Marcel sa badong mangsel Sunday nga sa elmo nga honor sel masila ri marulak class nga kung mal beta mal muklong rel sel masin din gagi dal malmol mal sel goreng sel nga ako kasi nga what an inspiration malmol mga nga ongero lurelel Mga ngaria part-time ngi lo lo mangela stuangal lo ngusel gu ordera wasan class mangrang lo gi wai kel clothing ngira ai gal kom bali ma connection serin sel gu kruli se gi dem mal ngari se gi ku tarawrior lo ruringi mang she keeps busy.
I keep really busy, and home life keeps me busy too because taking care of my mom and 2 girls. I have a teenager going on 30.
Or way. Mukha hidal mal belakang ngulo. Lauriore ol ngasora adalala ma tirakal ngaligin. Mangkadi mo is what's been your observations here 3 years?
My observations. I've observed a lot. Palau to me is a very laid back, very at your own pace kind of place where everywhere that I worked at was very fast, and you pick up and go and just keep going. I actually had to learn to tone it down just because everybody here just kind of goes with the flow.
Kaya kita lo ay sususan nga marigil laurio yang maral kira dio red muru laurio ya liberty ang ato koramal tiya kata salwa lor reada mangkaya kita lo ay susang bligil talkib al korasangar al motalkib al atter al mal adraurio mal di ngitantik moving all the time.
Yes, very fussy about going here, going there, just being very active.
So, I'm happy to be here. So, let's do some shout-outs before we end. Any who people who you wish to thank supporting you during the years that.
First and foremost, I actually would like to thank the Surang family, just because they helped out with trying to get me transitioned here to Palau, and letting me know like what we can do better for Palau. And that's how I actually ended up, going to the wellness center. It's like, hey, with your with the things that you know and your knowledge, how about we go ahead and open this clinic up. They do work with the ophthalmologist, so that's one reason why I was just like very interested in about it, is because every quarter they had ophthalmologists coming in to take care of the people of Palau.
Yes.
But of course with this COVID-19.
I know. Yes, tomral ngaria toktangan mlame Mr. Talam sumadukuram la ngoi titrin mertiang logi wa STA Wellness Center. They're always talking about diabetes and how that affects your vision, and they're close to kalamal makita lang tomala o singin.
Yes, diabetes is actually one of the most common issues of blindness is cataracts too. Palau, we do have a lot of aging elderly that do need the services. And one thing great about these doctors that are SDA do donate their time to come to the clinic and help take care of the people of Palau.
Mga ay maral ang orang sulala surang al family le support ringa ul melang ngorior material toktang al STA Optician me STA Church Optician me me ol ngasol donate te mire lo mes other vela igal el problem ra mataf.
And
your mom,
of course, I have to give a shout out to my mother, Miss Iwang Bes. Yes, without her, I wouldn't be able to do the things that I get to do here in Palau, because I do have a 2-year-old, and bless her heart, she really does take care of her grandbabies.
Take care ng aligel, especially ngel tokuning gel de lerur gil ang algel lerur gil ngel dia malo titrir mang take care ng aldom chelo rior.
Yes.
Almo al Sunday ma rior later.
Yeah.
Mada ka man sulang any closing statement raw erata for the close. Para STA Wellness Center me sa Malia.
Yes,
Sir
please,
Mulaklas.
please come on down or give us a call if you guys have any questions about appointments to see the eye doctor. And of course, we have our dental too. Please give us a call. Our number is 488-3061, and we can answer any of your questions or set appointments for you to see the eye doctor or the dentist.
Ang kagidal mal mga matarar other okol so kung ang sa ilong ko dong 488-3061
Yes.
tadira kal nga niya ako katuwarawi ang STA Wellness Center ang si iloger ang idil keral sa wamal loger algira lama tama awing ala and kamal masulang ko.
Thank you for having me.
Mal masale matmaro amlo sa wel me Amalia wow, ang kadiri ka makluklaw maraming na Dios. She is a strong Christian. Mal lo tuira rupa kal Dios. Hindi man niso kalmel yang mal mo ngilarong ko kalme sangal arbela luaise. Kagidal sabi erte gidal urior el marula klas. Ongero maral atra urior. Ida mo Amalia. The urior di maplakan mo to urior man misula Malia na sabi malme.
Thank you for having me. I greatly appreciate it, for thinking about me.
Oh, di ka meron ko that you're able to come here and share a story ka, raklangar ka wala tegi dalo urior el marula class. Okay, mada ko man blom sa lukong sa mo sure gidra a familia ore atio solo makaltanga trigida makuk next.